What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right. So, salute to Mongo Slade, aka James Harden, on the same night that Russell Westbrook made history by passing Vince Carter on the all-time scoring list. James Harden, in an absolute disgusting blowout over the Brooklyn Nets. I think I just saw a stat. I think it's one of the 10 biggest blowouts in the history of the NBA, a 59-point absolute destruction of the Brooklyn Nets, 126-67. The Nets scored 67 goddamn points in today's NBA. By the way, I'm going to get into James Harden in a moment. Is something going on with Brooklyn? Because it seems like they didn't play any of their starters yesterday. Now, is it that they're having a lot of injuries, or they just for some reason didn't sit their starters? Because I saw some claims from Nets fans a couple of days ago that the coach wasn't playing the starters; he was sitting the starters. So, is it that? I mean, my best guess is what's going on is if these guys aren't injured, they're basically sitting these guys to protect them from injury because they're getting ready to just have a wholesale clearance of that team via trades. So they're just not resting those guys. And you could also argue that they're playing the reserves to give them some shine because they get ready to trade. But hell, if anything, they did their reserves a disservice last night. 30% shooting from the floor, 18% from downtown, 54% from the free throw line, 67 points in today's NBA. Do you know how awful that is? 67 points in. Anyway, James Harden, during the first quarter of yesterday's so-called game against the Nets, Harden officially passed Dominique Wilkins for 15th place on the NBA's all-time points list. Although me personally, I don't look at the NBA list. I look at pro basketball, meaning that I include the ABA. So when you include the ABA, James Harden is 17th all time. Russ is now 24th. Kevin Durant is 9th. LeBron James is, of course, number 1 all time. Now, Russ is about 200 and no, scratch that. Russ is about 330 points behind Kevin Garnett. Harden is about he's only about 30 points away from passing the great Oscar. Kevin Durant is about 300 points behind Julius Erving. And for what it's worth, Steph Curry is about 100 points behind Ray Allen. DeMar DeRozan is just 40 points behind the great Allen Iverson. And DeMar DeRozan is a very interesting case because we don't think of him as a Hall of Famer, but look at the people he's just passed. He's just passed Elgin Baylor, Dwayne Wade, Adrian Dantley, Robert Parrish, Charles Barkley. He's going to pass Allen Iverson. He's going to pass Ray Allen. You see what I'm saying? Like, this era, because of the rule changes and the style of play, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's helping players create possibly inflated numbers. So that's why, you know what I'm saying, when people make comparisons to the 2000s, we got to look at it per era. People always talk about how the 60s and 70s are inflated. Well, compared to the 90s and 2000s, this era is inflated. So like I'm saying, no, I'm not disrespecting DeMar DeRozan or Steph Curry, any of these guys, but when you look at the numbers today, you got to compare it to how the basketball's played 25, 30 years ago. Anyway, James Harden, phenomenal accomplishment for him. y'all know I ain't the biggest James Harden fan, but what they've been able to accomplish with the Clippers without, for the most part, Kawhi Leonard has been remarkable. It certainly has. As far as his career is concerned, James Harden won the MVP back in 2017-18, 10-time NBA All-Star, 6 times All-NBA First Team, All-NBA Third Team 12 years ago. 6th Man of the Year winner 2012, 3-time scoring champion, 2-time assist champion, top 75 all-time player, and won Olympic gold in London back in 2012. You know, Mongo Slade is that dude. You know, no matter how we might feel about it, he's that guy. You know, my thing is, I just want him to replicate what he does in the regular season more consistently during the playoffs. That's been his biggest Achilles heel. He just doesn't replicate from an offensive standpoint consistently what he does during the regular season. It's up and down. If you go into any particular playoff series, like let's say it's a 7-game series, game 1, James Harden might score 40 points. And then you say, okay, well, he's back. And in game 2, he might have 9 points on 2 of 7 shooting. Then game 3, he might have a decent game, 25 points. Game 4, might have another decent game, 23 points. So you say, okay, well, he's back. Okay, this is the consistency we want. Then in the pivotal game 5, he don't show up. 13 points, 3 of 13 shooting. Then even within a game, James Harden has these weird ups and downs at times. And I think a lot of it has to do with, I think some of his pressure, some of it is, I know as he's gotten older, some of it is just, he was never the most athletic dude anyway, but that first step is not what it once was. You know what I'm saying? So James Harden has had to make adjustments to the changes in his athletic ability. And look, James Harden, like Russell Westbrook, in my opinion, they're not going to be these efficient 50% shooting guys. It's just not what they are. To me, the fact that Russ is shooting 45, 46% is tremendous. James Harden is shooting like 39% from the floor, which, I'm saying sounds low, but when you look at his shot selection, it's not that bad. But anyway, when you look at the other things to do out there, facilitating, passing, of course, underrated defense at times on his part, and elevating the play of guys around him. He's been doing a good job of that. I give him that. And, with Kawhi Leonard back, Kawhi Leonard looking lean, if he can have some sustained level of great play, then maybe the Clippers can do something. I just don't trust this team during the playoffs. I mean, they just haven't given, I think, most of us any indication or inclination why we should or try to trust them. They just haven't done it. I tell you one thing, though. The absence of Paul George and the fact this team ain't missed a beat, you could argue how they might be even better without him, Paul George, and look at how, man, is that an indictment on Paul George? I think it is. But anyway, so what you guys think?